From the guy who previously brought us PG porn and the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, James Gunn brings us his long-anticipated start to his cinematic universe, Superman. Given the current superhero climate, DC doesn't have a whole lot of goodwill left to burn. For every fantastic movie they've delivered, we've been bombarded with handfuls of dog shit.
I would advise not getting killed by her. Her sword traps the souls of its victims.
Harley Quinn, nice to meet ya. Love your perfume. What is that? The scent of death?
Their previous attempts at this sort of thing was disastrous to say the least.
Kal-El, no.
So this new start, this new vision had to be good. And was it? Yeah, I thought Superman was pretty good. I didn't love this movie as much as I hoped I would, but the more I think about this movie, the more I like it. I think it's a step in the right direction for this universe, and it's definitely the best Superman movie we've had since the original film in 1978. But the bar is kind of in hell for that sort of thing. For starters, I really like that we live in an era that can just trust the audience to be put into an already established world without needing to have an origin for everything. At this point, I'm certain you can ask a newborn baby about the origin story of Superman, Spider-Man, and Batman, and they'd be able to tell you beat for beat what their origin is. We get it, and I love that James Gunn just puts us in this world and respects the audience enough to not waste their time. With that being said, I do wish we had a little bit more context about the main conflict of the film. For how important it is, it's implemented in a very clunky way, and we're just told about Superman's involvement in this conflict rather than shown it. Maybe we could have cut out an action scene or two instead of missing out on this crucial context, because the way it was delivered through text just didn't work for me. Speaking of the action, this movie has a ton of action scenes, and they're all pretty good. I love directors that have creative, fluid, and moving cameras during action scenes. I can't tell you how bored I get watching the same flat camera angles with fake-looking zoom-ins and Superman Goku punching his opponents. It honestly makes Superman look so boring, but here's a film that makes the camera a character. It adds so much style and sauce to these fights, but again, it isn't perfect. Without spoiling anything, there's a certain fight in a base near the middle of the film that went on for a little too long and got boring real quick. It kind of reminded me of one of those CG slop fests similar to the end of those Venom movies. One positive thing I need to mention about the action in this movie is that Superman is actually heroic. I know, it's crazy, right? In every fight scene, Superman goes out of his way to ensure that the citizens of Metropolis are safe and not a ton of collateral damage is done. This is such a refreshing thing to see, especially with how cynicism kind of runs rampant in superhero media these days. The character of Superman is so misconstrued as this emotionless alien who only kind of cares about humanity, and that's unfortunately the norm these days. But Superman loves Earth. It's his home. Of course he's gonna go out of his way to save everyone that he can. Light spoilers, but in one of the fights, Superman is fighting this big guy here, and he goes out of his way to save everybody. No, scratch that. Everything. He saves a dog. He even goes out of his way to save a squirrel. When I saw that scene, I was like, oh yeah. That's Superman. Some of my favorite superhero sequences are when they're just trying to figure out how to solve their current predicament with little to no loss of life if possible. I'm sorry, but flying through buildings and blowing everything up with your Dragon Ball fight just isn't exciting. I'll take actual heroics any day of the week over shit like this. Henry, you were done so dirty, my man. David Cornsweet plays the titular hero in this film, and honestly, there's not much to say. He just is Superman, in the same way that you look at Christopher Reeve and think, holy shit, that's Superman. The casting is perfect. His mannerisms, optimism, and small-town naivety just scream Superman in its purest form. The same thing goes for Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. It only took about 50 years of Superman movies to figure out Lois, but by God, they've done it. She actually does useful things in this film that are related to the plot, and her chemistry with Clark is great. I love that they did a different relationship dynamic between Clark and Lois, and it's more of an uncertain, on-off situationship kind of deal. But deep down, they do actually care about each other. This helps Superman feel more human rather than him just being, oh man, Lois Lane, if you die, I lose everything and I'm gonna kill and take over humanity. God, what the fuck was Snyder thinking, man? Jimmy Olsen also gets some spotlight, and finally he's a character in a meaningful way. He does things. He's kind of like this playboy guy who's really shallow, and he contributes to the plot in a major and really funny way. Jimmy Olsen has been Superman's best pal since the 30s. And the most characterization he's ever gotten in any of these movies is this. Okay, he might have done more in Superman Returns, but I haven't seen that movie in forever, and neither have you, so good luck proving me wrong. There's also a whole cast of colorful characters, and this is where James Gunn really shines. He's so good at writing these oddball, quirky characters that aren't that well known about. They play off of each other really well, and they're a good opposite to Superman's straight man. Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner's Green Lantern is fantastic. He has some of the funniest moments in the film, and I've never seen such a lovable, arrogant asshole, but Nathan Fillion nails it here. Crypto is also an insanely effective Dibby, and he brings a lot of adorable levity to the film. Eddie Gathegi is also fantastic as Mr. Perfect. His performance, coupled with strong characterizations, I feel will have a similar effect to Rocket Raccoon, where this unknown character becomes a household name and he's remembered as one of the best characters in the whole film. But by far, the best performance in this movie is Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. This guy is the generational hater that I can only aspire to be. He's so deliciously hateful and believable in his conviction as this billionaire super genius who has a serious chip on his shoulder and is willing to go to extreme lengths just to get one over on Superman. This film also nails how ridiculously petty Lex Luthor can be at times, and Nicholas Hoult nails this aspect of him. He is truly an incredible actor, and it's time that we put him up there as one of the very best of his generation. Superman does have its weak points. The central conflict involving two warring nations could have been explained to us in a much better way. This movie feels like it has a lot going on at the same time. Like I mentioned previously, James Gunn does trust us to kind of just catch on to whatever's going on, but I do feel like the movie is a bit sloppy in giving us the crucial context at times. This wasn't executed in the best way, but I still appreciate the effort. It did kind of take a while for it to get going, and there were more than a few scenes that I personally would have cut to help structure this film a little bit better. This movie also has some genuinely emotional moments that got me all glassy-eyed. Not in a sad way, but honestly more in a moving way. The idea of hope with the music swelling up honestly got to me at some moments. I'm not going to say that I sat there and sobbed or anything, but it definitely did make me feel something for the first time watching these superhero movies. However, this movie does have that really annoying writing style of undercutting everything with a joke and not letting emotional moments just sit. This is honestly something about James Gunn writing style that I really dislike, and the most egregious example of this was near the end of the movie involving a scene with Superman and Lois, but not really gonna spoil that. I think the most nitpicky thing that I have to say about this movie was its editing. It kinda drove me crazy at some points. There's a handful of scenes that will have our characters in a really dark place, like a warehouse or a cave, and then it'll just cut from a really dark location like that to the brightest fucking thing you've ever seen. It felt so jarring, like I was getting flashbanged while watching it. Now this is definitely just a me thing because I'm not seeing this complaint anywhere, so this is just a crazy person rambling, but it really got under my skin. On a technical level, the movie looks great. The CGI was largely pretty good, except the slop scene I was referring to earlier, and I really love this film's use of vibrant and lively color. It really matches the more hopeful tone, and it's so nice to see a movie that actually gives us some vibrancy and color in the main characters' suits. I recently rewatched Man of Steel, and I was appalled at how dull and boring that movie looks. Look at Superman's outfit here and seriously tell me that this is any shade other than dark blue. The soundtrack is incredible, and like I said, it added to the genuinely moving scenes. The rendition of John Williams' original theme is refreshing and full of the Boy Scout hope that represents Superman without feeling too redundant. Overall, Superman is a movie with something to say. Even if it isn't all good, there's enough there for me to call this a massive success. And the general audience agrees with me because this movie is a huge hit. This is a hopeful movie that's funny, charming, and most importantly, it's heroic. James Gunn hits once again.
This motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking good.
That motherfucker don't miss, man.
And delivers a movie that sets the best possible foot forward for his universe, and for the first time in a long time, I'm kind of excited for this cape shit again. I don't really do number scores, so I'm just going to say that this movie was a good time, and I definitely recommend that you go see Superman as soon as possible. But given the box office numbers, it's likely you already have.